lesson in course 14, we will be taking on a live design of a website, and we'll be designing this website from scratch. So I'm going to be showing you how to go about all the phases of designing or redesigning or recreating a website from scratch, so that you understand what we actually do that we don't tell you on the internet. So stick around, grab a coffee, grab your notes, and ensure you take notes as we go along with this. Now, pause your redesigning. Don't do that yet. Focus, because I used to be in your shoe where I would be designing while the designer is designing. I'll be pausing the videos. Don't do that for the first phase. Watch to the end, and then you can do that in your practice state. All right, that way you would be able to understand fully my decisions in recreating this design. All right, guys, let's dive right into it. So I have some shots of the Stripe sections website that I screenshotted with the sniping tool on Windows. So all I did was to screenshot all of the screens, and this would guide whatever I'll be designing. Now I'm going to show you how I get the exact grid that the designers that designed whatever I will be recreating had done, and it would give me a kind of notion to, it's more like a guide that will help me get most of the things to be quite accurate when I design them. So let's dive right into this. First off, I would go on the internet. You might not see this part, and I will save the spline logo. I'm actually going to take up the spline logo, and I'll save that, so you can just get that on the internet. I didn't get that before now, so I'll go there, get it. I have it now, so all I'll do next is to paste it. Now I have the logo there, so the logo is set. So whatever I screenshot, I don't resize. That's one of the first rules to get your calculations very accurate. So once I screenshot anything, I won't resize it. I'll bring it into Figma, and if I check the size of this frame, you would see the size over here is 1920 by 1080. Let's see what the size of the frames in Figma say. Under some of them, you're going to see for desktop we have 1440, for MacBook Pro 16 we have 1728, and then for this one it says 1920. So we're going to stick with this. We have to work on the margin, so we're going to use the margin to get something really similar to what Spline have done rather. So let's proceed. So the next thing you need to do is to get out the colors. So Spline has worked more with their gradient, and I like how it is. It has some kind of feeling to it that just gives you that professionalism. So I'll draw a circle, and by now you shall know how to create a gradient. So I'll select the first part of this. If I zoom in, it would shrink a bit, so let's bring this into here, zoom in. So I'll select the first part, and then I'll duplicate the circle and select the other part. Now I have the two shades for the gradient. All right, I would do that later on. Let's proceed and check out if there are any other colors we need to pick. Yeah, so we need to pick the text color. So we'll come over here with the eyedropper tool. I'm going to pick the text color, which is 30 30 30. 30 30 30 is the text color. Let's see if it's the same for the one below. So this one is shrinked a bit, but let's see. So the one downwards is 6C 6C 6C. All right, we're going to also pick that. That would be for the body text. So 6C, I'm going to type that 6C 6C 6C. Right, it's a lighter shade. All right, so we have that now. So the next thing I'm going to do is go over the rest of the design. I would carry my stuff around, so I'll go around, and this gradient would be the primary gradient we'll be using, so it's the same thing. So I would duplicate this. I want to have this gray, that they have here. So I would select that. That is F2, F2, F2. Really cool with their color suggestions or choice. It's really cool. I'm going to pick the background color is F2, F2, F2. So the background color is still the same as this label color, so we're going to stick with that. We're going to create something more like a color style for this, so just stick around. I'll create a new file. So we're going to create a new file, and we'll select everything, copy it and paste it in the new file. So we have the new file here. All right, that's what I was aiming at. So we'll continue with it so that we can create a new style guide and actually work with less stuff in our face. Right, after this, obviously we need the other white color, so we're going to pick white, FFFF. All right, I know someone will be saying, you've not told us the color for the gradient. So let's go up there. We have this is the first gradient. The first side, which is the left side, will be 4B92 FD, and the next one would be 5C5D FF. I'll call the first one again, 4B92 FD. D for dog. All right, so you can play the video again to get that correctly. So we have most of the colors. We're going to get out the second color gradient. So I'm going to pick all of these. All right, and then we're going to pick that color. So come over here, select this, go there, pick this part, D3 4B ED, D3 4 and bed, the bed you lie on. All right, select the other parts, FF FC D4. Now this is going to be in sections so that you don't have to watch so much video at once. So I'm going to break the video into sections. So we'll start by selecting the colors and then creating the grid and all of those formalities, and then we would have the design in the next lesson. But let's carry on. Right, so we have that part. We'll go downwards and see if we have any other thing we can do. All right, just move our stuff till we get to the end. All right, so let's see what this footer color is. I'll duplicate this and see if it's the same 30-30. So it's the same 30-30-30. Awesome. So I'm going to duplicate it actually, and I'm going to give them namings. Now for the first one, we will have to create a gradient now. So I'll select this, click the box, choose the linear gradient, and I'll position it the way it should be, so it flows this way. And then pick the second one, the end one, select the eyedropper tool and pick this part. Now we have our first gradient done. I'll delete this, we don't need it anymore. I'll come to this one as well, do the same thing, linear, move it to the left, right, move this to the right, and select this, pick the color, and we have that. So with this now, we can now create or generate our colors. So first thing first, this one we're going to put it as primary gradient hyphen gradient, right? This one is going to be text color. All right, this is going to be the subtext color. So subtext color. All right, this one is going to be both for background and label. So we're going to say background label color, right? This is white, so it's obviously just going to be white color or white, whichever one you want, naming convention you want to give. And then we're going to give this a secondary gradient, right? And then this last one is going to be footer color. It's the same as the main text color, but yeah, so select all of them. They're all in our color style now. We'll delete them, we don't need them anymore. They're now in our color style. So that is done. All right, so what we need to do next is go back to the top and create our what's it called, create sort of our grid. So we have to create the grid. Select this, it's selected. I'll go to layout grid, click on the grid settings, choose columns. I'll leave it at red for now, and then from here you see this arrow that shows the navigation left and right. Once it shows, left click and just drag it in till it gets to the stripe. So it's on the stripe, and I can see that it doesn't quite balance up in this area. It doesn't quite balance up. Yeah, so I'm going to make that fix in my own, and I think why that is that way, let's see something. Let's see if it's this. So that's not the cost. So I'm going to balance that so that all of these flow on that line. All right, so that's the only little thing we're going to do. We'll check this out, check the logo upward. All right, so it's perfect. Right, so we have our grid. We don't have our grid yet, sorry. So it's not going to be a 5-point grid, it's going to be a 12-point grid. All right, so we have that, and I'll change it to black because I like using the dark one. And I'm going to change the space between them. You can see the space between them. I'm going to change that to 24. I'm actually going to use 24. So space between these shapes will be 24. Right, so that is done. Select the style and add that to grid. So type 12-point hyphen grid, and we have that grid setup. Right, we can do more setup later on if we need any other stuff. So we'll need to turn off the grid for now. I'm going to hide that grid, and I'm going to draw a shape in this one. I'll draw the shape upward. Right, see what I'm doing, bring this downwards a bit this way, and then upward at that point, and we have our white. So select this, go back to this, and you know what, I like to design this top as well in the design, so I'm going to leave it. I'll just press this, bring it here, right somewhere around here, move it 3 steps upward. All right, so we have that. Send it to the end and then extend it this way. Right, so we have something working for us now, and send that downwards. Just send it downwards for now, and right click on it. I'm going to frame it, move this inside this way, and move this into the frame. Going to move that into the frame and get rid of the other shape. Right, with that I'm going to give it the white. Now if your color style is showing this way, you can just press this show as list so that you can always see the colors. You can make it this other one, you can make it show at least. I'm going to make it as show at least so that I see this naming convention, because that is why I put the names there, so I won't be distracted or deceived by the gray background and the white. All right, so that is it for that. We would also create a style for the text, so we'll do that now. All right, so I'm going to type a single day, comma. I've done that, and I'm going to select the text color so you can see the single day. That won't be bold, something like semi-bold or medium, and then we can enlarge that, but I will extend this text to this point, draw a ruler and position it here so you can see where my ruler is. Select this and let it touch the ruler, and I would also do the same to this part. This is to ensure that all my stuffs are accurate. I would bring the top ruler, and redesigning or recreating something is not as easy as people think. It's a lot of calculative work to think like the designer who created it initially. So shout out to the designer who created this Spline website. It's really top notch. All right, so I'll do this as well for the down part, and I'll do this for this part. All right, so doing that, I'll bring this downwards and then bring this to this top. All right, so we have what we need to make calculated effort to get this correctly. I would now drop the opacity of the image this way, and then I'll make this text white for now. I'll bring back the opacity later. So a single day, so I'm assuming they used something around 64. Yeah, so it's almost close. Let's do 48, and we'll extend that to about yeah 55. So 55 looks very similar. They've used a different kind of font. Obviously, let's try Inter and see if we get something similar to what they've used. Right, so that's similar to it, and that is that. So we've done with this, and then we can type the rest of the word. A year's worth of impact. Right, let's make that 55 and just extend this a bit. Yep, that is it. And if we give it some later spacing, we're going to have something in that line. So I gave it a later spacing of 0.5, but I'll go back to 0 actually. Right, so we have that sorted, and we'll create a style guide for this. But first, let's do the body text. So I'm actually going to copy that out. I'll just go to the main design on web and copy that text so I don't waste your time. And I'm going to make that text 16 rather, make it regular, right? And then I will extend it further this way, something around here. Move that upward somewhere here, right? And paste that text in. Right, you can see what we have. I would enlarge the line spacing, and I will increase the text to 19. So I guess that's what they've used, 19, and then reduce the line height. Okay, so we have this done, and that is what we're aiming for. So that's actually the major thing we need. We need this header text. So I'm going to type event overview, and that one should be 16. Event overview is not 16, so let's do that. It's going to be on medium, and then let's try 20. So that's 19 as well, but I'm going to put this on 18. I'm going to put it on 18. Yeah, so that's the label. And then you can go over the design to see if they are consistent. I mean, if they are the same thing across. So it's consistent here. There's another type of text here, which is the H3. So we have to do the same for the H3. So I'm going to grab this text, grab all the text, just get rid of the horizontal lines, and the vertical lines as well. Gotten rid of that. Duplicate this, put it somewhere here, and we'll do the same for the H3. So select the black, make that from 55 to let's say 36, and type in powering growth for the internet economy. Right, so 36 is too much. Let's try 32 and extend this to this point. Right, have that, and yeah, so 31. Nah, we use 32 for that, and the spacing is okay. So this will be H3. This would be our H3, and let's see if we have any other fonts aside these smaller ones for the time, which we can create later. So it's the same for all of these. The body text here would go for all of these as well. Let's check downwards. This one is more like a banner design, so we can figure this out later. I think it should be similar to the headers, the H2. All right, so we have all of these, and any other key one, no other key one. All right, so we'll grab all of those texts. I'm going to select this one first, and I'm going to give that, I'm going to call that H3 hyphen subheading. As H3, I'm going to title this H2, obviously. H2 subheading. I'm going to title this one body text, so we're going to type body text, and then the other one will be label text. Right, there's one more thing to do. We've not done that for the button text, so I'm going to change this to black for now. Type register, so let's see if that fits. All right, so this break it, this is 18. Let's try 16. Worked, and make that bold. All right, so this worked. We'll make that button text, and yeah, so that works for us. And the H1 will be this one, so we can do this one on the main design. All right, guys, we've been able to create a style guide for text, color, and the grid. For anything regarding effect, I didn't quite see any drop shadow in this design. It was really clean with the usage of the gray background, so it gave that illusion of a drop shadow, but there is none in the design. So I'll see you in the next lesson, where we would begin designing some of these things. We may start by designing the components, and when I say components, I'm talking about these different cards. Raise this back to 100. So the different cards, just move this out with this, move it out for now, and just group that for now. And these different cards are called components, and you can see how consistent they are. This is also the card, and we have just those two, and then we have this other session, then this other session. So we're going to do that in the next lesson.